Okay, we'll call MPC meeting to order. Is there any additions to the agenda? Motion to accept the agenda. Ben, all in favor? Carried. And approval of Bernice is not able to attend today. She has personal matters. And I believe Rex is too, so I'll make a motion that we excuse him for the meeting today. Any questions? All in favor? Carried. And approval of the June 20th, 2017 MPC minutes. Ben has moved. Is there any questions or concerns? All in favor? Carried. And we'll move on to development permit applications, DP 2017-80. Whenever you're ready. Good morning.
Good morning. So the application is for a variance for a deck. The recommendation is that Municipal Planning Commission choose option 1 to approve the variance request with the following conditions. The DP is issued solely for the purpose of replacing an existing legal non-conforming deck and a variance, defined as a deck with a variance. The variance has been granted, allowing the deck to be placed 0 meters from the side yard property line. Development shall proceed according to Hamlet Residential District requirements, and no permanent development shall occur on or over any utility right-of-way or easement. And I'll go through my report now. So this is located at Plan 771-1065, Block 10, Lot 26 in the hamlet of Carsland. The owner applicants are Megan Henley and Thomas Adams. Parcel size 655 square meters and its own hamlet residential general. The applicant purchased the property with an existing deck on the dwelling, which needs to be replaced. The deck is 0 meters from the property line at the closest point, and the required setback is 1.22 meters from the property line. The deck has been granted compliance previously and is considered to be legal non-conforming. The current deck provides access to 2 entrances and is 1.07 meters high. The applicant wishes to rebuild a new deck in the same footprint. A variance is requested so that the deck can be rebuilt in the same location, which is 0 meters from the property line. Since the current deck is considered to be legal non-conforming, Section 643 of the MGA applies, which states that a non-conforming building may not be rebuilt except for in certain situations, such as for routine maintenance. And the land use bylaw refers to Section 643, which says a non-conforming building may continue to be used, but the building may not be enlarged, added to, rebuilt, or structurally altered, except for these 3 situations. The one that's applicable is for routine maintenance of the building if the development authority considers it necessary. The Section 4.3 of the land use bylaw applies. MPC may approve a development permit even though the proposed development does not comply with this bylaw or is non-conforming if, in the opinion of the development authority, the development would not unduly interfere with the amenities of the neighborhood, materially interfere with or affect the use, enjoyment, or value of neighboring parcels of land, or the proposed development conforms with a similar use prescribed for that land or building in this bylaw. Circulation comments, agency circulation not performed, internal file review had no concerns, and no comments from neighbors. So it is the recommendation to approve option 1, to approve the variance for the deck. Option 2 would be to refuse the variance for the deck, and option 3 would be to approve an alternative recommendation of MPC's choosing. So I've already read the conditions, proposed conditions if option 1 is chosen. There's a location plan in the hamlet of Carsland. And there is their site plan, and this in yellow is the proposed deck. There's an aerial photo, but it doesn't really, it's in a shadow, so you can't really see the deck in that picture Some site photos. So there is a picture of the existing deck, which is in a state of disrepair. And this is the property line where the fence is, so it's right up against the property line. That's the neighbor's house and shows just the distance there. And that's everything. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any questions? Brenda?
So with that, are they replacing that fence as well?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, just
Just
the
the
deck
deck, yeah.
itself then? Okay.
Any other questions? MPC's wishes? Push it again, Don. There you go.
Also move DP 2017-80, subject to conditions.
Okay. Any questions or concerns? All in favor? Carried. And subdivisions, file number SD 2017-05.
All right, so this is for subdivision application SD 2017-05. Proposal is to subdivide 4 3-acre parcels from the title area. And our staff recommendation is for approval with the conditions. So location is Lot C, Plan 8811396, within the Abraham Heights Area Structure Plan. Background is the intention for the additional 4 lots of country residential parcels within the Abraham Heights Area Structure Plan. 9 lots have already been subdivided out of this ASP plan area, and the proposed 4 would be in relation to the phase 2 as outlined in the area structure plan. The owner and applicant is Danny Thiessen, and the title area is 44.28 acres. So for policy review, we've done this through the municipal development plan and through the Abraham Heights area structure plan. So MDP sets out policies that state new residential development shall have greater preference when located within or adjacent to existing urban areas. They are located in serviced areas through existing facilities. It will create new or upgrade existing servicing, and incorporates principles of the low impact development, conservation, subdivision design, and leadership in energy and environmental design, or LEED, for neighborhood development. However, because the Abraham Heights Area Structure Plan superseded the MDP at the time that it was brought in, the MDP policies would not apply for this application. So going through the Abraham Heights Area Structure Plan, it was adopted on July 15th, 2013, 3 months prior to the adoption of the MDP. And it was broken into 2 phases, phase 1 for 6 parcels and phase 2 for 4. With a remnant parcel. Phase 1 subdivision was registered in 2015, but only with 5 parcels. Restrictions from an existing well site reduced the number of parcels from 5 to 6, to 5 from 6. Restrictions, policy 8.1.2 of the ASP states that phase 2 development will require updates to the backer reports, but will not be required through an amendment. The road alignment through phase 1 was modified at time of subdivision. Is it expected that further changes to phase 2 will be required as well as a result of the phase 1 changes? Policy 8.1.5 states that future development will demonstrate road connectivity through the area structure plan in general conformance with Figure 5. Staff note that the road alignment will be considered at time of subdivision and therefore have no concerns at this time. So Section 6.1 of the area structure plan sets out numerous policies with respect to water and sewer servicing. The plan area was planned to be serviced by individual well and septic systems on each lot. The lots were designed to ensure a minimum of 1 acre building area and a septic system and alternative septic field. Supporting studies submitted at the time of area structure plan application in Phase 1 subdivision would be revised for Phase 2. Assuming the Phase 2 subdivision is consistent with the overall ASP's policies, there would be no concerns otherwise. And in this case, through McElhaney and through the submission of the water and septic, there are no concerns currently at this stage. Through the land use bylaw, all future development will be required to meet the rules and regulations set out in the land use bylaw, in particular the country residential district. Staff have no concerns with the subdivision, as has been shown via the ASP in Phase 1 subdivision that the lands can be developed as country residential parcels. For the technical review, parcels have access from Range Road 254. For water servicing, as previously stated, the reports submitted at the time of the area structure plan were reviewed by McElhaney. Groundwater assessment was found to demonstrate sufficient water for the entire development proposed. They also noted that with the additional lots, that just pumping would have to be reduced for water in order to create a sustainable water source for the additional lots that are required for this subdivision. And then for sanitary servicing, the level 3 PSDS report was performed in 2013 and was concluded that the overall suitability for the use of PSTS in the ASP was very to moderate. As a result, staff have no concerns with the septic servicing. Historic Resources also requested a report, but no resources were found on the subject lands. Municipal Reserve is applied for this subdivision, 10% of the appraised value of the land, and it will be a condition of approval. And in the environmental section for this report, in 2013, a Phase 1 ESA was performed for Abraham Heights. Rangeland Conservation performed the Phase 1 ESA, and a letter of assurance was brought forth for this application that any potential changes that may have occurred in the last 4 years of the issuance of the Phase 1 ESA, and nothing was found to be of concern through that letter of assurance. So as a result, staff have no concerns with the Phase 1 ESA or any environmental concerns for the site itself. For circulation, it was circulated to landowners within 1 mile of the subject lands, and no letters were received in either support or objection of the application. And circulation through external agencies, Ember Resources stated that they should be aware of the well site within the land for the proposal. 100-meter setback is required. Otherwise, no other restrictions were commented for Ember. Then through internal department review, transportation infrastructure stated the approaches to proposed lot and balance must be constructed to county specifications, and the appropriate agreements for road acquisition and backsloping are required. So as a result of the feedback and staff's opinion, staff recommends option 1, approval. The proposal adheres to the objectives and policies of the Abraham Heights Area Structure Plan. The application is in line with the goals, objectives, and policies found within the MDP, and the proposed subdivision would be able to meet the rules and regulations as set out in the land use bylaw for country residential development. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any questions or concerns? Any questions? Ben?
I'll move we approve option 1 with the conditions as outlined in Appendix A.
Okay, Brenda? Turn your mic on, please.
I was just going to ask about the reserves, which was number 3 and number 4. So reserves for the remnant parcel are to be deferred with caveat. So that was on the remnant parcel, meaning the actual on the map,
The parent parcel?
parent parcel?
I believe so. Staff, Odessa, can you
Can you
answer that?
give me a quick explanation on all the reserves there?
Through the chair, so we have the 10% municipal reserve that's applied to the 4 lots, which is about between 12 and 15 acres in size, I believe. And the remnant parcel itself, in this case, we wouldn't be putting a caveat on there. I believe that was just left in as a default for the conditions, so that can be removed. But typically, we just have it as the 10% for the parcels being subdivided out there. So my apologies, that should have been removed.
So removal of number 4?
Through the chair, that's correct. The 10% is what we intend to put on just for the parcels that we're looking at for subdivision, which is the 4 3-acre parcels.
Okay. Any other questions, concerns? Public have any concerns? Okay, all in favor? Carried, thank you. And subdivision file number SD 2017-24. Good morning. Whenever you're ready.
Good morning. Yep, just give me 1 second. All right, so for subdivision application SD 2017-24, the proposal is to subdivide out 14.6 acres from the title area and consolidate 3 acres back into the parent parcel. Staff recommendation is that SD 2017-24 be approved with the conditions noted in Appendix A. And for the background, I'll just scroll down. So location, the legal description is Plan 0915593, Block 2, Lot 3, and it's in the Northeast 132325. It's adjacent to Range Road 250 and approximately 4 kilometers west of the hamlet of Nemeka. It's in Division 4. Owner is Bridget Matthews and applicant is Daryl Glenn. The existing land use is agricultural general and country residential. And the number of proposed parcels is 1. So the intent of the application is to consolidate a previously subdivided and redesignated 3-acre country residential parcel back into the parent parcel to accommodate a proposed 14.6-acre parcel on the same quarter. The consolidation is requested and necessary by the applicant due to the quarter having reached the maximum number of subdivided parcels, as per the MDP and the 5-lot rule, which triggers an area structure plan. The consolidation is being proposed as a condition of approval on the basis of the 14.6-acre parcel being approved if MPC so chooses. So the applicant has stated that the intent for the 14.6-acre parcel subdivision in lieu of the consolidation is to separate the homestead from the parent parcel and provide additional pasture land to continue grazing cattle. Through the through the municipal policy review, the Eagle Lake Area Structure Plan incorporates this parcel in particular. As such, the proposed parcel will be reviewed under the Eagle Lake Area Structure Plan. Within the Eagle Lake Area Structure Plan, this parcel in particular lands under Section 2.3 for general agricultural policy areas. The proposed subdivision will create a new parcel within the quarter section, but maintain its agricultural general district zoning, which keeps the land in use for agricultural purposes. The intent of the applicant and landowner to use the land for grazing also promotes the agricultural components of the district and therefore meets the relevant policies of the Eagle Lake Area Structure Plan. Through the MDP, sections 3.1 agriculture and 3.2 natural area were applied. Although the 14.6 acres of agricultural land would be separated from the quarter, the land would remain in its agricultural zoning and is planned for continued agricultural uses. The quarter cannot be further subdivided unless an area structure plan is submitted, as the resulting subdivision and consolidation would create the maximum 5 lots on the quarter. As per section 3.6 in residential development in the MDP, any subdivision development proposal that would result in 6 or more lots per quarter would require an area structure plan and provide access to county water and wastewater. Fragmentation and negative effects on agricultural lands are minimized with this subdivision because the lands continue to be used for cattle grazing and the parcel's agricultural general designation is maintained, allowing continued use for agricultural purposes. In addition to agricultural uses, 2 other residences exist on the quarter. The proposed subdivision would not create conflicts between the 2 land uses, as the existing residence on the proposed subdivision borders one of the existing residences and would maintain the residential components on that part of the proposed parcel. The agricultural uses planned for the proposed subdivision would not conflict with the remnant parcel, as both still maintain their agricultural designation and therefore maintain the agricultural components of the land. The lands surrounding the proposed subdivision include wetlands, and the agricultural report prepared by Agricultural Services has identified native grasslands on the quarter section as well. As such, relevant policies and provincial regulations were reviewed to address the environmental impacts on the subdivision. In section 3.2, the intent is to manage development and protecting and preventing encroachment on sensitive environmentally important lands. Quarter section has wetlands and native grasses, and they are important features within the county and in Alberta, which is also relevant for the South Saskatchewan Regional Plan, section 3.1, which promotes preservation of native grasslands. Although the proposed subdivision removes 14.6 acres, the uses are to be the same as per the applicant's statements: cattle grazing and continued residential functions, which currently occurs on the quarter as it stands unsubdivided. Therefore, staff have no concerns that the proposed subdivision would cause further damage to the land or increase in activity or intensity. If the proposed subdivision is approved, no further subdivision would be allowed within the subdivision, allowed without the submission of an area structure plan, therefore mitigating further fragmentation of agricultural lands, wetlands, and grasslands. As per the land use bylaw, it is continued to be designated as agricultural general, and the current uses of residence and several accessory structures for farming are permitted currently within the AG district. Setbacks are maintained along the proposed subdivision. In my report, I have that several structures are on the border of the parcel. However, after talking with the landowner, these structures can be moved, and it was an agreement that they will be to maintain the setbacks as per the current land use bylaw. Therefore, staff have no concerns with the setbacks currently on the parcel being proposed. For access, the existing dwelling has access to Range Road 250, and the Encana wellhead provides access to the remnant parcel through an existing access driveway. Water and septic, the existing residence currently has septic and water servicing, and therefore staff have no concerns with the servicing on the parcel. Municipal reserve is being applied in the form of cash in lieu on the 14.6 acre subdivision. And the report submitted by Doug Pollard for the appraisal brought forth an appraisal value of $4,000 per acre. And with the final plan of survey, the final cost will be determined, but the approximate at the moment is $5,840. Circulation was done to landowners 1 mile within the subject lands, and no letters were received in support or objection to the application. And external circulation brought forth comments from Alberta Health Services that a Phase 1 ESA be prepared and submitted to ensure no potential environmental concerns related to current or previous on-site or off-site land uses exist on the subject site. However, staff are understanding that the proposed subdivision will remove any of the sensitive lands for wetlands outside of the proposed subdivision. Therefore, a Phase 1 ESA, we believe, would not be necessary. They made comments on the number of lots currently on the quarter section, but as per the MDP, with the consolidation of the 3 acres, this would not be an issue. And then they provided their standard comments for septic and water servicing. ATCO Gas had no concerns, and Western Irrigation had no concerns as well. Internal file review, Agricultural Services said that they are in support of the move to incorporate the 3-acre parcel back into the parent parcel as it reduces fragmentation of the agricultural lands. However, they are not in support of the 12 to 15 acre subsequent subdivision. There's an existing home yard within the proposed subdivision, and Agricultural Services does not support a subdivision greater than the boundaries of the existing development. They also made comments on the native grasslands that are located on the parcel, and noted their importance as per the South Saskatchewan Regional Plan and to the county's environmental policies. As a result of this report, staff gives 2 options for MPC's consideration. Option 1 is to approve the subdivisions SD 2017-24 with the conditions noted in Appendix A, or option 2, subdivision application SD 2017-24 be refused. Staff recommends option 1 approval. It complies with the Eagle Lake Area Structure Plan, complies with the relevant objectives from the Municipal Development Plan, meets the rules and regulations of the Agricultural General District and the Land Use Bylaw, and does not remove productive agricultural land from production. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Any comments from public? Ask one more time. Any questions? Brenda?
Again, I'm going to go with the reserves. Did we take reserves on the initial parcels, or are we only doing it on the addition?
You're asking if there was reserve taken on
the initial?
on the 3 before? Was
Yeah.
there reserves taken before?
The time that this was done, it was before we had the records, so I wasn't able to find it. I would assume we would have taken reserves. But because this is a larger parcel at 14.6 acres, we staff have concluded that taking a municipal reserve on this would be appropriate based off of the size and the fact that there would be no further subdivisions because the other 2 parcels are developed.
So I guess my question would be, are we taking it on, you're adding in the original 3 again, so you're taking municipal reserve on the 3 acres plus, or is it just the addition?
Through the chair, it would just be on the 14.6 subdivision that's being proposed, not the 3-acre parcel that's being consolidated back into the parent parcel. Yeah.
Okay.
The 3-acre parcels get consolidated into the parent parcel into the subdivision.
Through the chair, sorry, repeat that again?
The 3-acre parcel, is it being consolidated into the main parcel or into the subdivision?
Through the chair, it's going to be put back into the parent parcel, not the subdivision that's being promoted here for 14.6
So the
acres.
14 acres is brand new acres?
That's correct.
Okay, does that answer your question? Yeah. Okay. Mm-hmm. Any other questions? MPC's wishes, Don?
Also move SD 2017-24, subject to all conditions.
Okay, any questions? All in favor? Opposed? Is carried. And no other planning matters? Last chance. All in favor? Carried. See you at 11 o'clock, I believe.